My father, not only my coach, this guy, my father, and
Can you talk about
you guys can like no understand how I love my father.
No matter how dangerous you think you are, you really don't want to be in the ring with Khabib Nurmagomedov. The Russian MMA fighter, who retired undefeated in 2020, fought a total of 29 fights and didn't lose a single one. Today, he is usually regarded as one of the greatest MMA fighters in the history of the sport. He competed in the UFC lightweight division, where he held the title of champion since 2018. Besides being insanely dangerous in the ring, Khabib is a millionaire who enjoys having the best time of his life. He is the most followed Russian on Instagram with around 20 million followers, and is the first Muslim to win a UFC title. In 2012, Khabib entered the UFC cage for the first time and went on to become an international star. Today, 8 years later, he is recognized by Forbes as one of the richest Russian sports stars. Khabib and Conor McGregor have earned the highest amount of money in the history of MMA. For every single minute they fight in the cage, it is estimated that they earn about $550,000. Of course, this would amount to millions in the long run. But this is just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to how much Khabib Nurmagomedov earns and is worth. You must be curious as to how Khabib spends these millions. Let's go find out. A brief background information. Born in 1988 in a tiny village in the Soviet Union, Khabib comes from a large family where he lives with his cousins and siblings. He is an older brother and a younger sister, Amina. His father had converted their home to a gym, and this was where Khabib first discovered his love for the martial arts. He grew up watching students train at the gym, and he began training at the age of 8, under the tutelage of his father. At the age of 9, he wrestled a bear as part of his training process. Interestingly, wrestling was common among children in Dagestan, where Khabib grew up. His father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, was a decorated athlete and had fought with the Soviet army. His father had also learned to wrestle since he was a child, and was better trained in the art of sambo and judo in the military. In 2001, the family moved, and Khabib intensified his wrestling training. When he was 15, he decided to resume training in judo, and by 17, he resumed training in combat sambo. Naturally, Khabib got into a number of street fights in his youth, before he decided to focus on professional mixed martial arts. The Russian fighter made his professional MMA debut in 2008, and recorded 4 wins in less than a month. He became the inaugural Atrium Cup tournament champion in the same year, after defeating 3 opponents at the event in Moscow. His fame in Russia and Ukraine consequently caused the UFC to notice him, and he was signed to the company. However, due to several court cases, around 11, it took a while before Khabib could get back into the ring and fight. For his first fight in the UFC, he earned around $16,000 and was nicknamed the Eagle, a nickname which has stuck to this day. But this money was not fair enough for all the troubles and training he had been through. He had spent at least $10,000 to $15,000 on training. However, in its 6th victory, he earned $64,000 and marked the beginning of his lucrative MMA career. 4 years after this, he would go on to have the most expensive fight in the history of MMA against Conor McGregor, a victorious fight that gave him over $10 million. Interestingly, his manager mentioned that Khabib made 3.5 times more in this fight with Dustin Poirier. Just how rich is Khabib Nurmagomedov? Khabib has several sponsorship deals which kept him afloat during his 17-month injury, which prevented him from fighting. In 2019, he extended his contract with Reebok and signed another deal with Toyota. Even though the total amount of these deals have never been publicly disclosed, we believe that they will add up to millions of dollars. He also signed a 3-year contract with Gorilla Energy Drink, a deal which is worth around $1 million. Khabib also recently started making money from his Instagram account. A single post, ad, or shout out costs around $4,700, and he did over 40 advertisements in 2019. In 2020, it was estimated that Khabib Nurmagomedov is worth around $30 million and is one of the richest sportsmen in the world. However, unlike the other celebrities and stars, Khabib does not fancy huge mansions, fast cars, and private jets. He has constantly mentioned that he believes in humanity, and he will use his wealth to help as many individuals as he can. This explains why the fighter rejects some of the offers that come his way. For example, he couldn't take deals from betting companies, alcohol, and cigarette firms. This is due to his Islam faith and the personal convictions he has adopted over the years. However, his belief in humanity does not mean mean he does not spend his millions on some of the world's best items. His car collection. As you guessed it, Khabib isn't one to show off his cars on social media, but it's no secret that he has some of the best and most luxurious cars. First and foremost, the first car that Khabib bought is the Lada Priora, a compact and affordable vehicle. However, he sold the car after a few months to fund his MMA career. After he sold the car, he decided to go for a Mercedes and settled for a 300e model. However, this car was destroyed in an unfortunate accident. Since he became extremely wealthy, Khabib has been spotted driving a Ferrari California, and this is the car that represents his net worth. In the current market, the car is expected to be worth around $180,000. Khabib also owns a Mercedes Class S, which was offered to him by a Russian billionaire, simply because he is a fan of the fighter. Of course, it was a gift that Khabib was highly impressed with. Who wouldn't be happy with a gift of $170,000? The retired fighter also owns a Toyota Land Cruiser J200. The J200 is one of the most popular Toyota models, and many have stated that Khabib owning one has incredibly made the model more popular. His house in his hometown. It is still a shock to fans that Khabib has not moved out of his hometown, the region of Dagestan. He grew up in this region but now lives in a house with a mountain view, a view many have called magnificent. One would think with this money and fame, he would move to the beautiful cities around the world and buy a number of houses. But Khabib has chosen to stay among his people. But it gets even crazier. The house is the same as it was 15 years ago. It does not have any special interior designs or high fences to keep robbers away, or even a physical magnificence that would attract tourists. The house sits in Sildi, a little village that has just a mosque and a school. The village does not have a single hospital, steady internet connection, or even the recent social amenities. The town actually became famous because of Khabib and his grandfather, Abdullah Manap. Since Khabib's UFC victories and international fame, the spot has turned into a cult location for fans and visitors. Also, when you get to the village, you are greeted with a billboard of Khabib and the words, "Welcome to Eagle Land." His decision to go back to school. Since the life of Khabib is really private, nobody knows for sure what he majorly spends his money on. But we know that his education at the Plekhanov Russian University of Economics costs thousands of dollars. Even though he is 32 years old, the retired fighter is currently a fourth-year student at the university. Even though he achieved a lot of wonderful events in his lifetime, he has maintained that he values education so much that he wants to have a degree of his own. Charity. After Khabib won his fight against Dustin Poirier, both men exchanged shirts. After this, Khabib announced that he would sell the shirt he had gotten from Poirier and then donate the money to Poirier's charitable foundation, a foundation working to provide clean water to Batwa Pygmy children in Uganda. When the shirt was sold, Khabib generated $100,000 from the sale and donated everything to the foundation. Inspired by the action of Khabib, Dana White, the president of the UFC, matched the funds from the shirt's sale and increased the total to $200,000. Poirier also sold the fight kit he used and the shirt that Khabib had given him, causing him to raise another $60,200 for his charity foundation. Khabib might also be making the biggest donation of his career if his plans become a reality. He mentioned that the custom arena where he fought with Poirier had been designed in a few months and suggested that the arena of this kind could be created in Africa. He wants to fight in Africa and then give all the proceeds to charity. Since several parts of Africa don't still have drinking water, these proceeds could be used to turn that around. Trainings, gyms, family, and his well-being. At his core, Khabib is a family man. He is married to his longtime lover, and they have 3 children together. As is expected, he is surely giving his wife and children the life they deserve. He also spends a lot of money on his fights and training. However, this is bound to change considering the fact that he is now retired. As earlier mentioned, he once sold his car to prepare for his next fight. Khabib said about paying for preparations, fights, nutritionists, hotels, meals, and coaches. I think it comes to around $40,000. And this is a payment he makes every month before a fight. Whether major or minor, as you can see, he made it a priority to care for his physical health and general well-being. Additionally, the Russian star mentioned that he would like to open gyms in Europe, Russia, and the Middle East, with the hopes that this will give millions of youth something to look up to, something that would distract them from the negative atmosphere of their environments. To this day, despite being this successful, Khabib Nurmagomedov has remained humble and approachable, and he regularly feeds his fans with business, personal, and religious advice. And with that, we wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.